Hi everybody, welcome back to tnoozLIVE at the Aviation Festival, presented by JetBlue Technology Ventures and sponsored by Travelair. My name is Martin Cowan, I'm Editorial Director for T-News. Next interviewee on the sofa is Surain Adyanthaya, who's the Senior Vice President of Product Strategy for Pros. Thanks very much for joining us, good friends and partners of T-News over the years. On the off chance that our audience isn't familiar with Pros, just give us a brief sort of elevator pitch about what the business does.
Oh, sure. Pros is a software technology company. We're about 1,200 people, and we're singularly focused on solving the big problems for our customers around dynamic pricing, offer optimization, coming up with the right price and the right offer for every selling opportunity.
Okay.
And airline is a big part of our business.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Pros also works with other verticals, but you're specifically an airline guy.
Yes,
so.
Airlines are about 50% of our business, and non-airline, B2B non-airline companies like HP, Walt Disney World, et cetera, are the other 50%.
Okay, so you mentioned there sort of offer management and sort of dynamic pricing, and I know that you're quite strong on artificial intelligence and machine learning, so I'm just wondering if you can sort of connect the gap. I mean, to what extent does AI and machine learning feed into a dynamic pricing model?
Well, it's really a lucky confluence of technology and need from the business. We always like to talk about the industry need first, and the airline business is going through a really transformational time with the unbundling of the air product. We have the seat, ancillary products, all of that stuff that came with LCCs and is now proliferating across the airline industry. The reduction in yields in business class travel, so there's more focus on generating revenue and yield through ancillaries and other offerings. So all of these needs have arisen in the airline world. At the same time, the capabilities of artificial intelligence have really come of age because of the connected world and all the data we have today, advances in the algorithms and cloud-based computing. So now we're able to have software that really mimics human thinking, finds patterns, makes decisions, does natural language processing, etc. So they really fit together very well because AI does some things very well. Things like offer creation, personalization. It has feedback loops to try different offers, and based on whether they're accepted or not, become more intelligent about what the next offer should be. So it has various capabilities that are very complementary to the needs of the airline today. Okay,
so you said you've got sort of 1,200 people working for you. I mean, how many of those would be hardcore data scientists? And I'm just wondering about the sort of tech stuff that you have.
Great question. We're a very heavy R&D company, technology company. Okay. We have over 480 people who are just in software development, science, and technology. Okay. And they're building product. Pros invest over 30% of our revenue back into R&D. And if you look at it, like Google may invest about 15%, Microsoft maybe 12%. So we're very heavily invested in technology. And science-based technology, real-time science-based technology.
Okay, so I mean, what's sort of slightly left field in the research that you're up to? I mean, if we were having this conversation in 5 years' time, what would we be thinking about? I'm just thinking about there's a lot of sort of short to medium term, but I'm just thinking about the bigger picture, long term, what you're looking at.
Well, the bigger picture is, first of all, the buyer is changing. You have the emergence of the millennial buyer. It's 1/3 of all travelers today are millennials. By 2020, over 50% of all travelers in the world will be millennials. And they have very different expectations from an airline. They expect an airline to behave more like a retailer, like an Amazon, to know them, personalize the offer, have someone like you also is interested in this that sort of usability. So if we look forward 3 years from now, 5 years from now, I think you'll see airlines operating much more like online retailers, where they're offering packages, they're offering much more than just the seat. I mean, if you think about it, airlines are the first to wallet. Talk to anyone. The first thing you do when you go on a trip is book your flight. And then you book your hotel and other things. Okay. So they have the first opportunity to offer all the needs for the traveler. And I think you'll see that transformation happening in the next few years.
Okay, it's interesting though that you talk about sort of like the millennial generation and how they're traveling more. They're going to be the main customer source for airlines, and they have different expectations.
Yeah, it's very interesting. We always have another generation, but the millennials are structurally different in their expectations and buying habits. They want transparency, self-service. Inspirational travel is very important. Okay. I have $500, I have 3 days, where can you take me? And come back and suggest things. And these are new characteristics that buyers did not have before.
Okay, and this is the sort of, tech personalization, algorithm analysis that you're doing. Okay.
Absolutely, and this is perfectly suited for the advances in AI, which are so good at understanding the buyer, personalizing the offer, and tracking end-to-end what happens with that persona that you're working with.
Okay, and this is a question that I'm asking quite often so far this morning, is along the lines of, a segment of one. Are we looking at that scale of personalization? Because there is an argument that, a segment of one is quite hard to achieve, and, it's better to look at sort of personas and cohorts. But is segment of one possible and desirable?
Right, that's an excellent question, Mark. First of all, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Because travel companies, specifically airlines, have very good information about many of their buyers through your frequent flyer program, through other sources. So when this identified buyer arrives, they do have the opportunity to know what their previous buying habits are, what their interests are, and personalizing the offer to that. However, it's a slippery slope, as you bring up. There are concerns that you're going to be offering different things, which might not be fair to some people. So, will we get to the segment of one? I think yes, but not in differentiating sort of the price, but in differentiating the offer by having a different set of things that are very personal and valuable to you versus to me. I think that's where the segment of one comes into, more than price differentiation.
Okay, and in terms of your sort of presence and at the Aviation Festival, what sort of conversations are you having with airlines now that maybe you weren't a year ago?
Well, first of all, every airline, we work with over 80 of the leading carriers in the world, the top 100. And every airline we speak to has a big digital transformation, customer experience initiative going on. And we've had numerous conversations already with current customers and those who aren't about that and how we can contribute to those efforts. But these are high priority with the CEOs, and I think it will continue that way. I would be surprised. I think Tim Clark's speaking tomorrow from Emirates, and I know at the top of his list is customer experience and the digital experience for Emirates. This is really a priority for all the airlines.
Yeah, I know. That's something. I've been sort of T-News for a couple of years now, and I've noticed the sort of the mood music around the airline CEO suite has changed, and they are now very much into digital transformation and e-commerce and NDC, whereas a couple of years ago it was all sort of fuel prices and regulations.
Right, exactly. It's a very different perspective, but necessary because of the change in the marketplace, the buyer, etc.
Okay, well, Surain, thanks very much for making the time to join us. Get back to the stand and talk to more airlines. Get that 80 up to 100. So thanks for joining us. So
thank you, Martin.
T-News Live at the Aviation Festival. Martin Cowan, editorial director, signing off shortly, but I'll be back. Thank you.